Is it more beneficial to have a traditional wife or a modern wife? Why or why not?
It depends. It depends where you located at. Because I think your culture, and I'm talking about the US, makes you like everything is so expensive everywhere you go, right? But if a woman working causes for you to not spend time with your kids, you still have to pay for daycare and all that. And at the end, you don't have not much money left. What's the point of you working? Instead of staying home and just taking care of your kids and doing everything, probably will have to change a little bit your lifestyle. And I'm not saying to worse, but change, find solutions for, hey, if you're getting your nails done in this place, probably go with learning how to do your own or a cheaper version. Probably like the maintenance could be a little cheaper. I don't know. Solutions. But other places where the economy makes it a little hard, I would say it is better to have someone that helps you, because if you want to have a specific lifestyle, like in El Salvador, for example, rent could be $500 in a nice area for a townhouse, but the minimum wage is $365 a month. So how are you gonna pay 500, for that type of rent? It's crazy. So you kind of need help in other places. So I would say it depends. You gotta think of the pros and cons for it.
Does anyone else have a take on that?
I think that it it depends. Like I think culturally that it is important for a woman to teach her children or sustain that like traditionalism as far as that. Like if I don't teach my kids Hebrew, if I don't put them in Hebrew school, that dies. If
Right.
my daughter doesn't marry a Jewish boy and have kids, that dies. Or like if my sons, like certain things. So of course I want them to make their own decisions, but like culturally, it's just like that's why I think that a lot of families of like or kids with that come from families like you said, you're Nigerian, Mike. Like if you don't teach your kids that stuff, it dies. And so like I think that culture and tradition and stuff like that is important in that regard. But I think economically, like Saida said, you have to be like realistic about where your household is. But I think as far as like your culture and religion, maybe traditionalism is extremely important.
Nice. Can I get the question again? I was engaging with the chat. They were asking me a few questions. Oh no. What was the question, y'all?
Hold on, I have it here. It was, is
Oh,
it
yeah.
more beneficial to have a modern or a traditional wife?
Is that she trolling again? Kelly, you trolling. That's a troll question. Traditional. Yo, fellas. A lot of fellas, my man Sean Gates, he's in the he's always on my stuff. Shout out to the guy. He's always saying he'll never get married. I think it's him that'll say he's never get married. I'm telling you right now, most dudes that say that end up getting married. And one of the reasons you might be, not him, but men in general might be putting off getting married is because internally they know I do not want this to end up like you got to understand. Men get heartbroken too. We're not ironclad soldiers. We get heartbroken. And with the ability for a woman to take away the very family we created, there's nothing worse in the world. And unfortunately, that is partly the fault of the modern woman and her complete disregard for the order of family and the having enough patience and just the sense to keep the family together. When you look, the proof is in the pudding. When you look at the statistics as to why people got divorced, it's stupid. I'm going to tell you as a Nigerian male, if a dude ain't whooping your ass, or like seriously, if he ain't whooping your ass or hurting the children, what are you leaving him for? What are you leaving him for? There's an interesting statistic. I searched for the statistic for hours. I had to word it correctly in Google and do some searching. How many women regret? How many women have been married multiple times regret leaving their first husband? It was 65%. That means you were upset. You left, took his kids, had a little bit of time to get over it, and you realize, oh man, I broke this whole family up by mistake. But a traditional woman understands and is grounded, hopefully, in the values that she knows. She has a little bit of foresight to know that whatever we're going through, we're gonna get through this rough patch. I'm going to involve the family. I'm going to pray with my husband, find some kind of foundation to ground myself to, because I don't want my kids to grow up without this man. They will find a way to keep this family together in conjunction with their husband. A traditional woman is always better. Do not engage in the institution of marriage unless a woman is traditional. That is actually something I want to talk to the men about. Men today they worship sex. A lot of men are marrying their favorite sex doll in a live woman. Unfortunately, that's something I've charged a lot of men with. She's not like, I encourage men, when you find a woman that you feel like you're interested in, try your hardest to keep sex out of it as long as you can. You will have a clear head. You see what I'm saying? Me and my wife didn't have, well, yeah, it went like over 90 days and all that stuff, but I was very focused and intentional. Like, let's see what, her values are, see if she's family oriented, find out about her family, do all of this, because I'm telling you, we're slaves to the booty. Once we hit it, we start forgetting about all the things that are important, and we just want to hit it again and again and again, and then be like, I'm making this ass mine forever. But naturally, when you get tired of doing that, you actually have to be married to a person. And you realize they weren't all that interesting to begin with. Yeah, I don't have the same values after all. So I need men to understand that you have to marry a traditional woman, or otherwise do not involve yourself in the institution of marriage.
I agree.
I agree. We see that a lot with a lot of these guys, what you just said about marrying their favorite blow up doll or whatever, a real person, and then they end up wondering why their wives are cheating on them or stepping out or dissatisfied, because you didn't look at her moral compass, you didn't look at her heart, you didn't look at her character, you didn't look at any of that stuff. You just looked at her. You know what?
Yes, I mean, just say it, that ass. I mean, think about it this way, because I'm not on here trying to stand on anybody's head. Okay, I got lucky, right? So my college girlfriend, right, was talking about marriage, and being who I am and the family I came from, I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's that time anyway. I'm 26. I got to get serious, and she was the wrong person. It's just you see what I'm saying? So it's like, wow, thank God she didn't get pregnant. Thank God I wasn't obligated to anything to her, because she was just the wrong person. I was hypnotized by the booty. Anytime I started to even feel like we weren't aligned in values, the booty would just take my mind over again. I was a slave to it, right? So that took my mind away for years, my rational thought process.
But
You
it's
know,
true, though. It's
But
true.
I'm glad that I'm sorry. I'm glad that you're able to say those things, because a lot of men don't really like, and that's accountability in a way. That's you, like, being honest about your decisions, more like honesty, I would say. You're being honest with yourself, because a lot of men will just prefer to say, oh, why she was letting me do it, and not being accountable for their actions. Oh, you're back.
I'm so sorry, my laptop died.
Yeah, okay.
we were like, well, I guess we are gonna.
You made beautiful points. Like Trigger Mike just he just went ahead and laid one on us again too. That was beautiful.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'll have to go watch it on the replay because I didn't. I apologize.
No
he was
worries.
basically saying that a lot of guys are not like if they're not marrying a traditional woman, then they're marrying wrong, because of the fact that a lot of the modern women, they're marrying them because of sex, because they're thinking with their little head and not their big one, and they become slaves to the booty.
I do have a question. Do you not feel that a modern woman... Do you not
Phone is
feel...
vibrating.
Do you not feel that a modern woman can be utilized for certain men? Like, in my opinion, I would say like Michelle Obama will be considered a modern woman. Do you think like Barack Obama benefited from having a woman like that?
I would
Yeah.
disagree. There's no way a modern woman can stand behind the president of the United States for 8 years. No way.
No?
She did not get in his way at all.
And she
She
has values
there
too.
were times where she took times away to raise her kids. She took time off the law firm to raise her kids. So I think I understand what you're saying. Where I think, you know what? No, she's not a modern woman at all. What we're noticing is that women just have a lot more latitude in society to be who they were because of the opportunities presented to them. It's a myth to say when women say men have been holding us back. No, men didn't know what you wanted. And if you notice that the progression of women happened lightning speed. Women said, we want something. Men said, okay. And you got it. So her as a traditional woman, she did everything a traditional woman would do. She just happens to be excellent herself in her career and everything she does. But the one thing I would expect a modern woman to do is feel, and like she would feel the first lady role to be cumbersome. You have to be told what to do in that role, exactly what to do, how to behave, how to talk, how to dress. A modern woman can't do that. She would have divorced her husband. And
I was gonna say, like, a lot of women nowadays think that the only way to be successful, a successful woman, is if you have a business on your own, if you pay your stuff. That's the only way that you can be successful. So in reality, I remember my grandmother she had 6 kids and she had a bakery, so she had a business, she was doing it. So I see, back in the days, I can't compare, but like nowadays I see a lot of women making money from home too. Like they have their own businesses and they don't have to go out. They still have the traditional mindset, but they are doing things to help the household. So the difference is that they don't forget their priority, and their priority is the family. That's the
Also,
difference. Like you can be mother, like you can have a way of kind of like working and making money, helping your husband, but you don't forget that your priority are your kids and your family.
so a lot of women also aren't doing their research on career fields where you can still, and it doesn't even have to be like that kind of like STEM. I work in IT and I'm home every day, and I can be because my baby, like he needs me. And so I'm like, but that still is a career field where if my husband, one day when I get married, if he were to pass, I could still sustain the lifestyle that. So a lot of women are not like thinking about career choices that can be something that they can utilize like once they become a mom. Like if you're a nurse, that's something you have to be there. Like,
Yeah.
Or flight like flight attendant.
And remember, it's not even her life. Michelle Obama's life was about her husband. So you have to make it about him. So it's not even about her or, the family. It's about him.
Say she was considered modern, like she was a lawyer in her own right. She was like the one that trained him.
Yeah. I also don't think that's modern. I don't think women have been excellent and had the ability to do those things for a long time. It's the access and opportunity for them to do it. Remember, women had to fight for voting rights and different things, but even those stories are misconstrued, right? When women decided they wanted to participate in society, men said okay. Women didn't vote for a long time. A lot of people don't know this, simply because they didn't want to go to war. In order to vote, you had to sign up to go to war. They're like, forget that. No. It wasn't until someone said, well, maybe we take away that requirement for them, that it became okay. So, I don't I think I would go. I know you're on the modern side because it has to do with her job and all of that, but black women especially, have always worked alongside their men. Literally, if it's not in the field, as slaves. They were working in the church. They were community organizers. Literally, they held the entire community down while their men were at a factory or in a mine somewhere.
So I would consider myself a modern woman, like being successful in my own right, but I have traditional values.
So that's the way my wife does that all the time, and says, "Well, I think I might be a modern woman." No, you're not. I wouldn't have married you. I tell her straight up, and it's more. Let me put it to you this way. I think in the beginning, you remember when I said many women, not even modern women, many women are just fighting against their nature to be modern. They're not actually modern women.
Mm-hmm.
When their man talks, they shut up. They care how he feels and have a feeling of guilt when they don't feel like they're fulfilling him in a way.
Mm-hmm.
When women talk, it's still funny. Even in America, I've heard a woman cry because she said, "I can't give him children." She understands how when you gotta listen. Like when I listen when women talk, you
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying. So it's like you still know there are things that you need to be. Yeah, there are ways in which you need to serve a man, and you see what I'm saying. And
Mm-hmm.
you're fighting against your nature to do so, which is what we call the modern women. But I don't think modern women and any like are destined to be that way. No,
So do you,
they're destined to be traditional.
so the way you describe it, it sounds like modern women put themselves first, where traditional women put their husbands and family first.
Yep.
So it has nothing to do with going to work and not being at home and not being.
No, I've actually never described it like that at all. And the reason why we shouldn't do that, remember I said last week or the last time we were on, we have to stop um putting those two together. Work means modern. No, it doesn't. You have to look at the people who do it the best and have been and keep their families together. When you walk in a Chinese restaurant, there is a wife at the counter. Her husband is in the back cooking. If the kids aren't school age, they're on the floor playing. These people work together their entire life. The women have been working since the beginning of the time. It's just, is it in the family or is it in some corporate style where they have to swear off a man so they have time to climb the ladder, right? So it's just the mode in which they're doing the work, and it really has a lot to do with selfishness.
I was gonna say because it has to do because we're thinking like, oh, it's my career, it's me, it's what my success, everything. It's me, and the only person that is getting benefit from your success is you, nobody else, because you're not buying a house thinking of your kids for your kids. Honestly, you're thinking. I never hear a woman saying, "Oh, I'm buying a house for my kids in case that something happens to me for my kids." They always think that in case that my husband is missing. I'm just generalizing. I'm not saying you. It's generally right. So that's why like women say that, oh, like these women got divorced and they had nothing to, nowhere to go or whatever. That's their mentality. They're not thinking for my kids in the future. So and it's the opposite to the men. The men buy property thinking for the legacy, their kids. This is for my family. They never think it's my house, it's for me, it's for my family, which is different.
I actually have instructed my son when I bought my first house, I got a really good deal on it. And I was like, this is your house. If anything ever happens to mommy, this belongs to you. I said, I'm gonna pay it off as quickly as possible. As soon as if I die, you take life insurance, you pay off the house, you always have a place to live. And this is yours, you keep it in the family. For the first house. And he's like, he knows. He's like, that's my mommy can't tell, that's my house. Like he knows. So
That's beautiful though. But I agree with you as far as like a lot of women do. A lot of women do look at it that way. They're prepping for the in case things go bad. The in case, like you said though, Kelly, because a lot of their grandmothers or aunts or whatever like sit in their ear and tell them, like, hey, whatever. They're not feeding life into like when I told my family that I wanted to get married, like when I was 18 years old, instead of hearing like, I know my grandmother had passed at that point, and I knew that my grandmother would have been proud because that's what she's a traditional woman. But like my mom and them were like, what are you doing? You're 18. And I wasn't like, oh, I'm 18. Like I was like, oh, I'm doing the right thing because we don't believe in shacking. We don't believe in this. I'm doing the right things in the eyes of God, blah, 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 this and that. And they're like, you're throwing your 18-year-old life away. You're throwing your 18-year-old life away. Like you're trying to have kids already. You're trying to get married. You're doing too much. So yeah, I would say that like I've seen both definitely as far as like modern versus traditional women, and I'm like, but the men now do too consider modern women if you make a lot of money. If you make a lot of money, they have a hard pit, like they have a hard time swallowing that. Like if you're successful in your career.
Stop, Cap. We don't care. We don't
No,
care.
Yeah,
you
I don't think men care. I don't think men
We don't
care.
care.
The only thing
So,
the
so
only thing that they have a problem with is women trying to say, just because I make such amount of money, I'm gonna manipulate you and control you, and I'm gonna do whatever I
exactly.
want.
So,
That's the difference. Like your ability to, or the money you make doesn't make you not having respect for the man.
yeah,
so
That's
you
the
gotta
difference.
trigger
you
Mike.
gotta understand. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like a man like you, like what you were saying, like you or like and like y'all see that as an asset. Like if a woman comes in and she has this skill set, but like to a man who's complacent, like in his like he's not complacent, but he's just a regular schmegler
So
dude. They do not
things
see
there.
that.
Two things there. Remember, I said, well, I didn't say it yet. If he is a regular schmegler dude and you're a squared away woman with all this money, the hell you doing with that dude? So let's get that
Right,
out
exactly.
the way. So let's get out. The second part is that the ratio by which women change their behavior and start making unfair demands, or when they get money, is crazy compared to when men do it. In fact, it's not. It has to be the opposite, because men still make more money than women, and simply money just simply means the advancement of our family. The kids get more things, wife cars get nicer, new house gets built. That's what money means for men and has meant since the beginning of time. Remember, men have not changed. It's not that women make money primarily. I understand what you're saying. Those dudes are suckers, but I still don't think those women should be 50 feet from, at any time from those dudes. Men care how women behave once they get money. Now, all of a sudden, everything that was non-negotiable becomes negotiable. I have a homeboy going through this, and it's funny because she was making more money. He's an engineer. She's a realtor. She had the best 3 years of her career, made like $600K in like 1 year, in like 2020, when the housing, went all inflated like that. He said, bro, do you know she started asking me to clean? And he's the one who's been making, in the 10 years of their marriage, been making consistently most of the money while she got her real estate license. She wasn't doing anything for a long time. And now she's acting different and making these kind of demands of him. And this is how I broke it down to him. You tell her, and this is actually something for all women. You are always in charge of housekeeping. I don't care how it gets done. You can hire someone, but you're in charge of housekeeping. This is why that's important to note. I have never in my life been in charge of dishes. Why would I start now as a 36-year-old man? If you want dishes done right, I'm the wrong person to do them. If you want the floor vacuum right, I'm the wrong person to do it, because I've never done that in my life.
36.
Use me where I'm great. You understand? I'm great at playing with my kids and keeping them occupied. So if you need time and attention to clean, tell me to take the kids out, because I'm great at that. You hear what I'm saying? Use me where I'm great. Don't ask me. Only a woman would make a demand of a man like that after she got some money. Well, I need you to clean and help around here. You in charge of housekeeping. Hire the damn housekeepers that you're making all this money now. Don't include me in that. I'm never supposed to be. I'm working outside. I'm cutting the grass. I'm doing all this. And because you're making money, you trying to dictate orders. Like, that's the audacity of some women when they get money. Because alternatively, you notice as men start making money, their women start relaxing. Let me get some.
They want to
Let
make
me
you
get somebody to.
easier.
Let me get Freshly to make meals 3 times a week because I'm tired. You see what I'm saying? So how dare a woman ask a man to start doing anything because she making money? Craziness.
Trigger Mike, we're the same age.
Really?
You are not 36. Like this is crack. A black does not
Look,
crack.
people have been saying I look old, but damn, I'm 36. I don't know what to tell y'all.
You are 36? I am 36. Wait, am I 36 or 37?
I wouldn't know. You guys.
This is throwing me. Y'all's ages, like, y'all look good. Give me whatever. What are y'all taking? What's the sauce?
Oh no, I'm actually doing real bad right now. I used to be sexy. I got dad bod written times 1,000. But no, all that's gonna change pretty soon. I got everybody wants to see me do my high speed stuff to attend my gun classes, and I'm like, good God, these knees are delicate now. Let me get some weight off so I can take some of this pressure off. So Trigger Mike 2.0 coming 2023.
2023, you gonna make lifestyle changes?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Right. That's crazy. Y'all do not know y'all's ages.
I have. Did you guys have any closing remarks before we close for tonight?
Y'all need to be selling skincare, not panel pockets. Y'all need to be in there selling skincare stuff. Y'all make a killing.
Fee has a skincare line.
Like, y'all are good.
Oh, somebody get this. I was like, Saira, you were frozen like this.